Coach, obviously, this is an interesting match for you guys finally get to put it back together. What's the overall feeling now that you're where you want to be? I mean, the whole season was predicated basically on to get this opportunity. So what does that feel like?
It feels good. It feels good. We're where we want to be. I think we've reminded the guys this week that there's something like 170 plus teams that aren't playing soccer right now at this point in the season. So we should enjoy it. We should embrace it, and we should be very, very grateful that we have this opportunity and that we're one game away from a Sweet 16. So hopefully there's a lot of optimism, a lot of energy and excitement. We got together to watch the game last night among other results coming in as well, and you could tell there was a buzz amongst the guys. So I think they're excited that the tournament started and looking forward to Sunday.
I actually think I saw Elijah in the sheets last night, so that was pretty funny. I guess that would have been post game. So what was your takeaway? You got to watch him live, and it's the very next game. So what's your takeaway on them?
Yeah, they're a good team. No surprises there really at this point in the tournament. Yeah. They're very, very good in transition. They got a lot of attacking intent when they first win the ball back, and then they're quite brave to commit a lot of numbers forward when they establish their possession. At the same time, I think we'll be able to feel like we get into our attacking identity and keep the ball and possess the ball quite well. And hopefully, as soon as we can settle into the game, we can kind of exert our dominance and feel like what we've done up to this point in the season should still be enough to get us over the line on Sunday as well.
Makes sense. And for you personally, I mean, this is a rivalry going back to the Big East days. I don't know if there's a lot of history there between soccer. I'm kind of pinch hitting for this one, but is there? And in your experience, what is that like?
I remember playing them my freshman year, and we were on the receiving end of a result that day. And then obviously just being aware of what the tradition is with the university itself, and knowing that I'm sure most Mountaineer fans put this in their top three, definitely in their top five in terms of rivalries. So we're hoping that's going to, add a few more hundred people to the crowd, if not a few more thousands.
Right.
Help us have that home field advantage and that 12th man as we have throughout the season. And as I said earlier in the week, obviously we want the football team to have success and beat Texas, which is another rivalry that's developed, and then stick around a few more hours and Sunday, and obviously come and watch us at 1 o'clock as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What does it mean that you guys were able to do what you did at home? Is there an era of invincibility? Are you trying to preach that? Does it help that you guys haven't lost? That might be a stupid question, but I am genuinely curious. Let's say there is an early goal for them. Like, just generally speaking, what you've been able to do at home, does that have an impact? I mean, it has to, right?
I believe so. We've come back to win from behind at home this season as well. So I wouldn't say invincibility is the right word, but you definitely want to draw some confidence from what we've achieved and the body of work through those 10 games, especially when you factor in that there's another ACC opponent in Pittsburgh that have come here, and obviously we handled that. So there's some comparisons and definitely a ton of confidence we can take in knowing that we've been very, very good at home.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And then I guess just last thing for me, the MAC tournament was short for you guys. What did you tell your team following that game?
It's the last game we can afford to lose. I've been in a situation like that before, where you're secure in your place in the national tournament, and you come up short in the conference tournament, and have been able to kind of turn things around or come off the back of a loss in a conference tournament and go on and win a national tournament at the University of Charleston in 2017. So sometimes it can be just that little dose of humility and reality that you need, that we are human, and that we, despite having a really good run of results going into that game, and despite having already beaten Georgia State, we still got to make sure we show up for every single game and not take anything for granted. So there are no second chances when it comes to Sunday, and hopefully, that little awakening, if you like, or a little dose of reality we received against Georgia State only focuses the mind even more going into Sunday.
Sam Paniglia.
Coach, if my math serves me correctly, when you play on Sunday, it'll be the 22nd. This is going to sound weird. be 22 months to the day that you were hired at WVU. You obviously had a great season. Last season, you felt like you got snubbed. Finally, you're getting your shot in the NCAA tournament. How does that feel to you personally that you're finally getting this opportunity?
I guess to an extent validating that we've got to this point in my tenure where, again, we're an at-large, and that was quite honestly the ambition. If you're looking at the progress that we were trying to make and the goals I've set myself for this program, it was, the first go around, obviously the COVID exception perhaps, but that this season we were in a position where we were an at-large, perhaps got off to an even better start than expected, given the quality of competition we played to begin the season. But that only moved the bar again, and no one puts more pressure on me than myself in that regard. So I believe that we have a top 10 program here today, and that we want to do ourselves justice and obviously make sure that we get over the line on Sunday and continue to progress in this tournament. I absolutely believe we can compete with anyone in the country. We've shown that consistently throughout the year. So I'm excited. I'm not satisfied with where we are and what we've achieved. I think there's still much, much more to come for this program, and that includes this season as well.
Keep going, Sam.
So obviously this is a quick turnaround. You just found out, matter of days that you're going to play Virginia Tech. You have some mutual opponents in Pitt and Marshall. Does that make the scout any easier, or is it just kind of we're going to put an 11 out on the pitch and kick off?
No, I think obviously we've gone through our process. The turnaround time isn't all that familiar to some points in the regular season. Obviously, we knew we were going to be playing one of two teams, so we'd spent some time and invested some time in both Campbell and Virginia Tech prior to last night. I think what's interesting when you look at Virginia Tech is there aren't too many games they've played this season against a team with our identity, a team with our formation. So there's still some unpredictable elements of exactly how they'll set up and what they'll try and do to potentially stop us. Or will they feel like they can be the team that exerts their dominance and starts on the front foot? Again, we've had the opportunity to watch them last night. We've had the opportunity to watch some other games. And speaking of Pitt, I think that was one where, yes, it's a familiar opponent, but it's also their most recent opponent outside of the Campbell game last night. So in terms of making sure that we were ready, we can draw some comparisons and some, if you like, get some idea of what they're going to do based on that game.
Anything else, guys?
Yes, I do. Individual wise, anybody you're leaning on, Coach, to this point? I mean, it has to be your captains, guys like Powell and Kevin and all those guys. Is there anybody else in particular?
Yeah, every single one of them. I think we've going throughout the season that depth is a feature of our program right now. The luxury that we have to keep the energy levels really high and the intensity of the game very, very high. I think that should be a key factor going in tomorrow, knowing that they've had a quick turnaround between what would have been obviously Thursday night and now Sunday afternoon. So we want to feel like we're the team that brings the greater energy. And if we have to rely on more than the starting 11, then that will be no different to pretty much every game we've had this season. So look, there's a balance there because you have seniors that know that this is their last go around. But at the same time, you want to trust what we've done up to this point in the season and who's helped. And you don't want it to be any kind of sense of desperation. You want it to be a really composed, mature, poised performance. So the leaders of the group, the seniors, they've got to come out and kind of be the role models from that regard and not show signs of desperation, but actually show signs of composure and poise and maturity that we can play in the big stage and we can play in a knockout format.